Can you hear me? Is my audio okay? Okay, thank you.
Yes. Can you hear me, April? Good. Okay. Board members, why don't we all go on video here so that we can begin? Let me just make sure that we are being heard and seen. Okay. All right. Well, let's dive in. Gregory, are you all set? Okay, great. Hello and welcome. Welcome to the July 9th meeting of the Board of the Valley of the Sun Waldorf Education Association and the school we operate, which we all know is Desert Marigold School. I hope everyone is doing well and is healthy. Arizona is certainly a hotspot for COVID cases right now, making national news for all the wrong reasons. And it may be a difficult time for some of us, either some of us or folks in the community, and I hope everything is going well. School reopening is obviously a big topic, obviously top of mind for a lot of folks. Many parents have questions, and that is understandable. I hope everybody has had a chance to read the school reopening plan that was published on Parent Square on June 30. There's a lot of information, and more information is coming, so please be patient. As I've said before, let's please consider DMS to be the best source of information about the school's reopening plans. That might be emails from the school or content on Parent Square. It might be town hall meetings. It could be FAQs. It could be these board meetings or the minutes from the board meetings. But those things are the best source of information about school reopening. I know a lot of parents are talking amongst themselves, and I understand that. But please, as always, consider DMS to be the best source of information. And things are continuing to evolve rapidly, so please be patient. But more information is coming. We are continuing to meet as a board virtually because of COVID-19 and the health and safety concerns that go along with large gatherings. So we are remote and virtual tonight, and probably for the foreseeable future. We'll have our board meetings this way also. The public is able to attend by Zoom. And as always, we ask for patience with any technology issues that may come up. So let me read the opening verse, and then we'll ask the board members to introduce themselves. So the opening verse: the true aim of education is to awaken real powers of perception and judgment in relation to life and living. For only such an awakening can lead to true freedom. And that's from Rudolf Steiner. My name is Matt Walker. I am board president. I am a parent of a student at DMS. April, can you introduce yourself?
April Sauer, board member, and I'm also a parent of a student.
Gregory? Can't hear you. Nope. Sorry, am I the only one not able to hear Gregory? No? Okay.
I couldn't hear him either.
All right. We'll come back to you in a second, Gregory. We'll keep going around the horn. John Tanner.
John Tanner, board member.
John Elling.
John Elling, board treasurer.
And Nathaniel.
Nathaniel Allen, board member and parent.
Great. All right, Gregory, I'll give you another try here. No? All right. We'll wait for a moment.
Okay, how about now? There we go. Gregory Schneider, board secretary, parent of 2 children, and technologically challenged.
It's all good. All good. All right. So let me preview the agenda very quickly and touch on a couple of things. The agenda tonight is focused on our proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. Included in that will be discussion of expected revenue, expected spending of various types. I think it is pretty likely that we will use and have an executive session during tonight's meeting. So for our attendees, please be aware of that. If we do that, that portion is not open to the public. To log your attendance at tonight's meeting, please click on the link in the agenda notice where indicated. It'll open an attendance sheet in Google Docs. Of course, you are not required to log your attendance, but you can do so if you'd like. And another reminder just for all of us that due to Arizona's open meeting law, we are limited in what we can talk about and discuss just to the items that are on our agenda. But I think it will be a pretty quick meeting tonight. If I'm hopefully a lot shorter than our last meeting, which was a bit of a marathon. But that's the first order of business, is to approve the minutes from our June 24 meeting. So I will make a motion to approve the minutes from our June 24 meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you, April. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Is all abstain.
All right, there we go. Thank you. All right. Anything before we get into the budget then? No? Okay. Well, let me invite Christy and Priscilla into the meeting. I see that they are here. Thank you. And while they're turning their video on, let me review the process and timeline just for our collective understanding. At the June 24th meeting, we did discuss and debate the proposed budget. We went through it in quite a bit of detail. And we approved, at the end of that meeting, we approved the proposed budget. Shortly after that, the approved proposed budget was posted on DMS's website, and it was uploaded to the state as well, to ADE. And tonight we are reconvening to review and finalize the actual budget and vote on whether to approve that. And then, assuming that goes as planned tonight, then shortly after tonight, Priscilla will again upload the final approved actual budget, upload that to ADE as well, and we'll do that well before the deadline, which is July 15th. All right, so again, just a couple of reminders here. First, thank you, Christy and Priscilla, for joining us and all the hard work behind the scenes on the budget. As with last time, some aspects of the budget are confidential, salaries and benefits and specifics of that sort. So let's be mindful of our comments in the public section of tonight's meeting. And we'll probably begin our discussion of those sort of general public items, and then if we need to, we can move to executive session. After that, we would then come back into public session and vote on whether to approve the budget as discussed. We are, as mentioned last time, aiming for a balanced budget, meaning that our expected expenses would match or be a little less than our expected revenue or income. So at our last meeting on the 24th, we did go through items line by line, and I think that was helpful and educational for all of us. But I don't think we need to go into that level of detail tonight. My hope is that we can focus in on any open issues or remaining topics or questions that you might have from last time. But if we're able to zero in on the more specific issues, then we can be efficient with our time. So let's begin. I might just ask Priscilla, are there any updates that you would specifically like to call out before we go in? You're muted, Priscilla.
Thank you. There were a few changes in the salary worksheet that Christy and I had reviewed. So we made those changes as she was sitting down with the teachers going through contracts. She made a few adjustments, and I did make those adjustments to the budget and sent her the adopted budget for tonight. And we are at a budget balanced as we speak.
All right, that's great. That certainly helps. Well, last time what we did is we just went through top to bottom. Again, I don't think we need to do that line by line like we did last time, but maybe as we go down to the budget worksheet, if there are specific questions that anybody has. For instance, I have a question at line 45 or so. Does anybody have any questions prior to line 45? It's actually line 50 now that I look closer.
Okay.
That's the E-rate. And when we looked at this on the 24th, I think that line item was blank or zero.
Yes.
And now it has dollars aligned to it. So can you explain?
Yes, the E-rate is the program for the copiers and getting some computers into the school. And what happens with that E-rate grant is we work with the vendors, and money doesn't actually come into the school by means of cash. What they do is they discount their billing to us. So the billing from like Cox is divided up, and part of it's paid directly to Cox from the government, and then part of it is paid by Desert Marigold. So we do recognize it as an income item because it is income. And so we did update the amount of E-rate revenue. So we went back to what the vendor had told us that the government's paying and populated it.
So does this show up on the expense side also to balance out?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Can you point us to that one, Priscilla?
I can. It is down in, let me give you a line number. Let me find it real quick. On line 114, you'll see internet, Fruth, and Mattel. And then a few lines up, line 108 for Fruth and Canyon, the 26,100.
Okay. So those numbers were in there last time.
Correct, but the revenue was not.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we have to recognize the revenue even though we don't receive it directly.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Good. Any questions on that?
Sorry, I'm just confused about which budget document we're looking at, because Matt, your numbers lined up with what you were talking about, but it seemed to be different from what Priscilla was talking about. Was she talking about, or Priscilla, were you talking about the one we talked about last time, the numbers on that, or tonight?
Yes, the budget document that we went through last time, we updated it at the end of the evening and with grant money.
Okay.
So if you look,
So the
Gregory,
line numbers you were.
if you look at the document I sent a couple hours ago, it's an Excel sheet or it's a worksheet, and I was referencing the line numbers in the Excel sheet, not the state expense code.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's the Excel spreadsheet. I labeled mine FY21 proposed budget, even though we're moving on to the adopted. I have it labeled as FY21 proposed, so hopefully it went through the same.
Okay. All right, my next questions are not until line items. It's in essence the ones we were just talking about from Fruth and Mattel. But before we get to that, those were line items 106 and 114 or so. Were there any questions before that from board members? Okay, not hearing any. Well, we can always go back if you do. I know we spent a lot of time talking about these items last time, Priscilla, and maybe that line item of the E-rate was the looking into it you were going to do, but I jotted down in my notes that you were going to look up, and all right, maybe now it makes sense. My notes say that you were going to look up the grant side of these. All right, so that's what you did? Okay, all right.
Yes.
But we still feel these are the right estimates on the expense side?
Yes.
Okay. All right, my next question is not until line 186. So are there questions before that? And I'm skipping over a couple of confidential oriented ones that we should discuss in executive session. All right, well, looking at line item 186, it's net operating income, and the last version we had a little under $93,000 here, and this time we have $157,000. So I wasn't sure what the change was.
The last version you have had it at how much?
When we talked about this on the 24th, let me find it here. Yeah, I had, what it said last time was $92,898.
Oh. I'm not sure because that's a total line. And as we were speaking last time, we did make some adjustments.
Sorry, line 186. Am I saying that right? Net operating income? Not the 2.7 million, but the one right below that.
Net operating. Yeah, that's a total line. Well, oh, I know what that is. Hold on just one second. Let me do some quick math here. Okay, your difference is 64,000, and when I add that is the difference between the income and the expenses. And so when I added in the grant income, it's going to change that line because it's a calculation. So when I added in the 65,000 of the E-rate grant, it increases our income, so that dollar amount increased as well.
Got it. Okay.
You're scaring me, Matt. I was like, wait a second.
All right, that makes sense. All right, those were the only non-confidential questions that I had. Other board members, any questions on your end? And were there any changes to enrollment since over the last couple of weeks?
I will look at that right now.
Okay.
So as of eight hours ago, the total is 284.
Chris,
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. So K through 8 is 250, 9 through 12 is 54. So 304.
And how many kindergartners is that?
The charter K,
Yes,
it's 32.
32.
Well, that's 20 or so more than last time, right? We were at 283 or 284, I believe, 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Okay. We feel good about the accuracy of those numbers then?
Yes.
Okay. That's great news. That's terrific. Do we need to Priscilla, do we need to adjust any of the figures in here as a result of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, the the budget that was sent out that we're looking at now was based on 25 kindergartners and 198 first through eighth and 48 high schoolers versus 54. So with those numbers, it's definitely a difference in income. It will increase the income. It will increase the state equalization and also the Prop 301 money and instructional improvement money as well.
Well, that's really good news. Right? It doesn't dramatically, it's unlikely to dramatically impact the expense side of things. But we were already working from, thank you, a balanced budget. This actually puts us a little bit to the good, which is nice. Okay. Well, I'm not sure that we need to see all those numbers tonight. I imagine that will take a little bit of work, Priscilla, on your end when we're finished here, or in the next day or so. Is that about right?
Yes, it will.
Okay. All right. All right, good.
Matt,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
Previously at our meetings talking about budget, we've put it up on the screen. Do we want to do that for consistency and transparency and let people see the budget we're talking about? We've done that at all of our other meetings. I know we're kind of towards the end of it, but
yeah, we've put our income statement, we've put some of the general high level aggregated documents up, but we have not put our line item budget up in order to preserve the confidentiality of some of these line items, because they are, in a few cases, I think they're specific. And so I would not want to inadvertently reveal salary information.
okay, maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but I just know we've been showing a lot of documentation.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
April, I think you might be recalling the when this information is put into the budget form that is uploaded to the state. That's the public record, and that's what has been displayed in the
Okay.
past. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Any other questions of a public non-confidential nature? All right. Well, Gregory, if you're ready, then I will move for us to go into executive session to discuss sensitive employee-specific payroll matters relevant to the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. Unanimous. That's good. All right. So before we go anywhere, let me review the logistics with everybody. Hopefully freshen all of our minds. We'll do it just like last time. So I will keep this Zoom meeting open. I will turn my camera off and mute my microphone. But that way it keeps this Zoom meeting alive, and folks who are attending can continue to have it up in the background. I will send each of you a link for a separate Zoom meeting for us to have the private discussion of executive session. You can then, once we confirm that you've received that email, you can leave this meeting, go into that one, and we'll have the discussion we need to there. And then when we come back to this one, you can get back into this Zoom meeting via the link you used half an hour ago to enter it in the first place. Good. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. Bear with me a minute. Let me set up that other Zoom and send it to you. Hang on. All right, everyone, if you can just confirm to me that you have received it, received the email with the link to the executive session. All right, Nathaniel, thank you. Priscilla has it. Great, thank you. You can leave this one. April, thank you. Mr. Tanner, great. All right, thank you. Gregory's good. All right.
I got it, Matt.
Okay, great. Thank you, John Elling. And Christy. Christy, did you receive it as well? Okay, very good. Attendees will be back in a little bit. All right, are we ready to proceed? It looks like there we go. All right, everybody ready? All right, so we're back in session. So between the approved proposed budget and the actual budget, we've made minor modifications to the tune of about $14,000. And we now have a balanced budget. So I would move to approve the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget for DMS according to the modifications made from the approved proposed budget to what we reviewed and discussed tonight.
I'm willing to second that. Is there any more formal language that describes the budget we were looking at tonight? Is there a term of art, or maybe Priscilla can help us out?
Yes, the FY21 adopted budget.
FY for fiscal year, say it again, Priscilla.
Yes,
FY.
fiscal year 21 adopted budget.
So if we modify what you just said slightly to, you move to approve the fiscal year 21 adopted budget for DMS according to the modifications from the approved proposed budget to what we reviewed and discussed tonight. I think that would be accurate.
I'm comfortable with those modifications.
Okay, and I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? It's unanimous. All right, thank you, Christy. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, board members, for all the hard work and diligence and attention to detail to get us to this point. We're finished, so I'm going to move to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you, April. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor? It's unanimous. All right, I'll read the closing verse and then we are finished for tonight. The most important tasks for humankind today and in the future is that we should learn to live together and understand one another. If this human fellowship is not achieved, all talk of development is empty. And that's from Rudolf Steiner. Gregory, did I miss something?
No, someone was knocking on my door and I was telling them to, not now.
All right, that happens.
Sorry.
All right, everybody, our next meeting is the 15th. I will see you all then. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Priscilla.